Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. I am your host, Mikhail Tinubu. Welcome on the show. Now we're getting right into it with some sports-related stories from all around the world. Right here in Nigeria, we're starting with the former Super Eagles winger, LAWAL, who has warned the Flying Eagles to be at their best if they are to make it to the knockout stages at the 2023 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. The team has been drawn in Group D of the the 2023 FIFA Under-20 World Cup against five-time champions Brazil, Italy, and the Dominican Republic. Nigeria has come second twice, once in Saudi Arabia in 1989 and once in the Netherlands in 2005. They won a bronze medal in the Soviet Union in 1985. LAWAL has urged the Flying Eagles players to perform at their peak in order to defeat Brazil, Italy, and the Dominican Republic. Nigeria qualified for the competition, which will be held in Argentina from May 20th to June 12th, after finishing third in the 2023 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. Now, I'm joined on the line by Seun Ajidagba to discuss this. Seun, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mika. It's a pleasure joining you on the show.
It's been a while, and I wanted to welcome you back with some local stories regarding our very own. What do you make of the performances of the Under-20 team? They recently just had a 3-3 draw against Colombia.
Well, it's good to always start from home, and they say charity must begin at home.
Absolutely.
I like the comment that was made by Garba Lawal, the one we simply call Mr. Nigeria then. Almost all the coaches loved his industriousness, the way he plays his football, one of the finest defensive midfielders Nigeria had. After the game early this morning, I also listened to Coach Ladamboso, who was saying we are ready to win the title. But I will tell Ladamboso to please calm down. One of the songs I love so much is sung by Jimmy Rando, One Day at a Time, Sweet Jesus. You crawl, you sidestep, and then you walk. The first thing Ladamboso and his boys have to think about is to get out of that group of death that we find ourselves. I like the fact that FIFA placed us in a group of death, also helped us to structure our matches. Our first game is against a team that we can call neophytes, Dominican Republic. Then we'll face the Italians and finally face the Brazilians, who are the most successful team at this under-20 level. They won 5 titles. So I'm happy that we are facing Dominican Republic first on the 21st of May, and on the 24th, we will face Italy before we face Brazil. So we need to first get out of that group before we start talking about we want to go and win the title. We know that since we have been participating at under-20, our biggest achievement was in Saudi 89, where we got to the final and lost to Portugal in the final. And then we got to the final in 2005. That was Tunde Disu. And of course, 2005 was Samson Yeboah Siasia, when we lost to Lionel Messi-inspired Argentine side that won us by 2-1. So let's first get out of this group before we start talking about winning the title.
Hearing these coaches, these legends, proclaiming that we're going to win it, that we're ready, and then we go on to, get close, but not quite close enough.
One thing again we need to sort out, Mika, is defensive woes. We are conceding a lot of goals. And they always say, goals wins you games, defense wins you championship. We need to sort out our defense line. The way they concede goals is not anything encouraging. The last game, we conceded 3 goals and we scored 3 goals. The previous game also, that was how we conceded 2 goals, although we won by 3-2. So they need to start taking details about the issue of the defense. But like I said, this team, a lot of people are not having so much belief because there is too much tweaking, too much changes. At Wafubi, it was a different team entirely. When they went for Nations Cup, it was a different thing entirely. Now when they are going for the World Cup, we are seeing another different team. So the question is, where is the chemistry? But I wish them all the best, and I want to see how they will perform in their first game against Dominican Republic. That is very important to me.
The irony of the Nigerian football situation with the national teams is that with the youngsters, obviously, we see a lot of problems with their ability to defend, to stay organized. Whereas with the senior national team, we see a lot of inability to score, but the defense is more in line. We concede 1 or 2 goals at most, but we still do typically well when we face off against especially neighboring African nations. But with the under 20s, under 17s, they do concede a lot of goals. They do, however, still score a lot of goals. Is it just the youthful exuberance that is currently the problem with this team? Immaturity being the deficiency that is making our defense itself so weak.
200%. I'm still trying to come to terms, even when I know that we now have the 2 finalists and we have the 4 teams that have qualified for the World Cup at under 17. Talking about Burkina Faso, Mali, Morocco, and Senegal. But honestly, for the beautiful football that we played in Algeria, I'm still trying to come to terms that when the draws for the under 17 World Cup will be made, Nigeria will not be part of them. And I'm feeling bad because with all our beautiful football, it's not going to take us to the World Cup. There was too much profligacy in front of goal. And I've always told you, Mika, that in football, there are 4 C's that are very important. Chances created and chances converted. If the chances you create is not equatable to the chances you convert, then it's going to be a problem. It's high time we started having a philosophy such that at under 13, under 15, under 17, under 20, under 23, there is a style that is of similarity. If you are going to be playing from the wings, if you are going to be playing from the middle, let's have that style, because these coaches are the ones who are going to be producing this talent for these other coaches, and then it will now get to the senior national team. But you find out, Mikel, that we are not having any style that we can be boastful of. Unduka Agbade is playing a different style. Ladambozo is playing a different style. Salisu Yusuf is playing a completely different style. And when they now get to the national team, Pesero is playing another different style. Let's have a functional technical department that will lay down a blueprint to say, this is what we want to do. Those good old days, Mika, we always play from the wings, and that's one of our biggest strengths. Play from the wings to the middle and then to the attack. And that was how we got the likes of Benny Roa, Augustine Eguavon, Emmanuel Manike, Philippe George. You know, that was the style. The question now is, what style are we playing? Are we playing 4-3-1? Are we playing 4-5-1? Are we playing 4-4-2? Are we playing 4-3-3? You know, what is the style? The style is not unique. It's not in tandem with various coaches. So we are not yet serious as a nation.
So, unfortunately, we've talked about this in the past countless times about a need for a uniform style across all the age groups. It sounds to me like the solution to this should be a uniform approach to hiring from the top to the bottom without just hiring one single coach for one single age group.
You have said it all, and you have encapsulated my thoughts. From that under 13 to under 15, there must be a uniform style. To under 17, to under 20, to under 23. Then they will now take it to the national team. So that we know that this is going to be a seamless process. Mika, is it not worrisome to you? Nigeria is the most successful team at under 17 World Cup, but we have never won under 20. And it's just 2 years between under 17 and under 20. So why can't we have a geometric progression? If we have achieved at under 17, what's stopping us from achieving at under 20? It means there is something wrong at that under 17. And I wrote a project topic about that during my master's program in Unilag. And I talked about psychological implication of age falsification on transitional growth of football development in Nigeria. And what I simply talked about is that people are cheating at age grade competition. When FIFA says under 13, they expect you to bring players below 13 or 13 years exactly. When they say under 17, below 17 or 17. But you find out that the federation in Nigeria wants to win at all costs. And that's why they do like a musician, I don't know his name. He say all I want to do is win, win, win. Mm-hmm. So they will now get a coach that must win and key into their philosophy. So in that process, you now go and bring overage players.
All right, let's talk about
you are bringing 20.
A solution that could be enacted right now. Should these teams be brought together to train together, perhaps with all the coaches sharing ideas right now, so that maybe we have a bunch of training sessions where some players from the senior national team can play alongside players from the youth systems, and they can pit them against each other so that we can finally blend the youthful exuberance that tends to lead to flamboyance and goal generation, chances created, chances converted, as you said, whereas have the experience that will keep these youthful players organized in defense. Maybe perhaps when both teams or both sets of age groups leave and go off to play their own competitions, the Super Eagles, for example, would have taken a lot of notes and perhaps influence from the youthful players, whereas the youthful players could have learned a lot of psychological tricks on the pitch to stay organized in defense. What do you think?
You have said it. The person who is central in achieving this feat that you just talked about is the under 13 coach, and by extension the technical department of the Nigerian Football Federation, who will now invite all the coaches of the national teams from under 13 to under 15 to under 20 to under 23, and then the national team. You will now tell the under 13 coach at that meeting, or call it a seminar, that going forward we want to start to play this kind of style, this kind of formation, this kind of pattern. Now, you under 13 coach, you are central to achieving this. You are going to start, because you will be the one to produce the team for under 15, because they will have to graduate. And the players that are graduating to under 15, the coach will also follow suit, because he or she inherited those players from the under 13 coach who has started that pattern. That is how they will build it to get to the national team, where they will now make the job very easy for the national team manager, such that whoever is coming is just a plug and play. Simple.
Another solution,
it's not rocket science.
Another solution that could work for us, should we incorporate this idea, is that in the future, when we've developed a bunch of 13-year-olds who graduate into the under 15 squad, and eventually into the under 17, and later on under 20, under 23, and eventually into the senior national team, we start to select and take note of the kinds of players with the kinds of minds that would make for good coaches. Therefore, they have gone through a system from academy and are going to end up transferring all of that knowledge to the next generation, and then start all over again, making them under 13 coaches and perhaps graduating them as coaches to the next age groups, 15, 17, 20. And maybe we could start to build for the next 20 to 50 years.
We have to be sincere with ourselves. Look around, Mikhail. How many true academies do we have? That you will get there and they are in facets to say, oh, this is under 5 category, and the players that are there are below 5 years. This is under 7, this is under 10. We are just joking. You get to some academies and you weep. That is it by force to own an academy. So what do you want to achieve with this academy that you have set up? You just want to continue to cut corners, not necessarily getting the appropriate players that are going to suit that system. So we need to be sincere with ourselves. And I think that it is a workable system. We have to take a hard look at ourselves and say,
let's talk
this
about
is what we want to achieve.
let's talk about the kind of help we need, because obviously sometimes it may seem like the kinds of administrators we have are out of their depths. Let's talk about the kind of help we need from an international body that is experienced in setting up such academies, managing the resources, ensuring that age groups are met, the rules are upheld. How much support do you think FIFA is currently giving to the development of academies in Nigeria? Because I remember once upon a time, the kinds of players that came out that were spotted by Pepsi Academy, the Mikel Obi, the Yobo, Joseph Yobo. It seemed like we went through a period when our development squads were starting to grow, and we looked like we were going to develop a new generation of golden stars. And perhaps even if they didn't achieve everything we hoped they could, it would set a template for the next generation. But that hasn't happened. Do you believe that FIFA is doing enough to help shape and guide our efforts in the academy system?
FIFA will not bother themselves about you. And I've always told people that they will give you money for goal projects. Whatever you do with that goal project is your own kettle of fish. But again, if you don't do something right with that goal project money, you are shortchanging yourself. Going forward, they might not give you that kind of money. Those money are meant for developmental football. They are also meant for building infrastructures. Now, FIFA has one mistake that they always make, and I keep telling people. For instance, you are going for under 17. They will tell you that they are using MRI scan, which is checking the bone limit between 0 and 5. If it's 6, it means you are overage. So someone might be 15 years of age, but because the person has undergone a lot of training and the person's bone limit is 6, they term the person to be overage. So FIFA will not tell you not to bring overage. You are the ones that are hurting yourself, because when you are under 17, they will say plus or minus, bearing any unforeseen contingencies, bearing any injuries. These players should be able to give you 20 more years, which meant that you are retiring at 37. You can see some of these players. Edwin van der Sar retired at 40. Not because he was tired, he had to go and be with the wife. Look at Maldini, look at Baresi. You can continue to talk about them. Look at Zlatan Ibrahimovic, look at Lionel Andres Messi, you look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Some of the people who played with these guys, where are they today? We know what happened in 2005. Where are the teammates of Messi that went to Holland 2005? Look at Toni Kroos. He's still playing. He will play tonight for Real Madrid. Where are his teammates that did all those things, all those Gideon Akishola and all of them? Where is Stanley Okoro? So they will not tell you not to cheat. You are only hurting yourself, and you are hurting the developmental growth that your country is supposed to experience.
So effectively, we are on our own, and we will decide to be better when we make up our minds.
True that.
All right.
And look at the simple illustration I cited. Most successful at under 17, but you have never won under 20. And the difference between 17 and 20 is just 2 years. So why can't you have a geometric progression? Why can't you have a graduated team? At least out of the 23 players or 22 players that prosecuted that under 17, if they are so good to have won that under 17, like 15, 14 should have graduated to under 20. Maybe you now infuse a little more to make up a team.